and there's certain-wide consultation.
And 2020 National Festival of Arts and Culture ends in Jos. Participants commit to greater national unity. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with culture. Culture remains a strong force in unifying the Nigerian people. Harnessing these potentials, therefore, will lead to greater national unity and development. These views were expressed at the closing ceremony of the 33rd edition of the National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST 2020, held at the Rampang Stadium in Jos. Priscilla Gromnan reports.
It was 7 days of cultural extravaganza as contingents from the 36 states of the nation showcased the rich heritage which strengthened the bond of unity of the Nigerian people. The theme, Post-COVID-19 and Cultural Dynamism, signifies uncommon courage to rise above challenges and show that arts and culture can be used to revive all aspects of socio-economic life. Apart from the cultural display, prizes were carted away in innovative arts and crafts, choral music, local cuisines, and essay writing, among other categories, with Bayelsa State clinching the overall position. The need for the promotion of the rich cultural heritage, norms, and values that reflect the true identity of the Nigerian nation took center stage.
I am sure the seed that this event has sown in the hearts of our children will germinate and grow to create great icons of art and culture in the future. Having again come together and exchange ideas, as well as display our cultural and artistic varieties, there is no doubt that NIFEST 2020 has united the contingents from across the country to demonstrate that we are a united people.
If we're able to blend sports and culture together, then this country can remain peaceful, united, indivisible, and remain the giant of Africa.
Other speakers said Nigeria is a land of opportunities waiting to be tapped for greater progress and development.
The weather in Jos is enough to change our economic strength.
Of NAFEST 2020. It is indeed a unity forum.
The festival came to an end with the symbolic closing of the Unity Calabash from the Rampam Township Stadium in Jos. Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 33rd National Festival of Arts and Culture has ended on the plateau with the promise of greater national unity and development. And joining us live via Zoom to discuss successes and challenges of the NAFEST 2020 is Welly Tamokat, Commissioner for Tourism, Plateau State. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the program this morning.
1 week of cultural extravaganza has ended in Jos, and many has described the event as a success. What were the challenges towards putting it together, and successful will you say it was?
Hello, I can hear you very well.
Let me take it again. I was saying the 1 week of cultural extravaganza has ended in Jos, and many has described the event as a success. What were the challenges towards putting it together, and successful will you say it was?
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Bakola Long, for hosting a successful and peaceful NAFEST 2020, and to also thank him for the courage and commitment he gave in to host the Plateau NAFEST 2020, despite the lean resources of the state, and also to appreciate the cultural ambassador of our time, the DJ, Otumba Olusegun Brunsway, for his resilience in ensuring that the Plateau NAFEST 2020 came to pass. The challenges, were not much, but to our surprise, we had less, considering we were scared that because of the NAFES 2020, we would experience a lot of challenges, but not to our surprise. And we thank God that it was quite peaceful. As in festivals like this, one would expect, challenges here and there. But we didn't experience any, heavy or serious, challenges. We were kind of concerned about, ensuring a peaceful environment, which we had almost 80%, 90%. The security were on ground to ensure the peaceful environment for this festival to happen, and we're grateful for that.
Now, tell us, how committed will you say Nigerians will be, going forward towards harnessing the gains of the NAFES 2020 to make culture a stronger force unifying Nigerian people?
Well, the impact of the NAFES 2020, the cultural thinking of Nigerians differs from individuals to individuals and from community to community. But I believe a better understanding amongst Nigerians on the socio-economic impact of the culture is on the rise. And knowing that the cultural sector is the next option, for Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, after oil. So, forums like this provide interactions and collective sharing of what makes us as a people, such as the NAFES, such as the
all the clips we've seen lots of our cultural displays. So what will you say was the high point of the NAFES 2020 festival in the Plateau?
The high point of the NAFES 2020 was the march past by the various states during the opening and closing ceremonies, and the realization that about 2/3 of Nigerian states were in attendance, the highest number ever recorded in the history of NAFES, especially during the era of COVID-19 pandemic. Also, the unity displayed by the different ethnic groups of the country at the festival, this further cemented the bond of friendship amongst participants from the different states and the hosting state. Most notably, I believe, was the command performance anchored by the Plateau State troupe to welcome invited guests, and the Plateau story, which was showcased during the opening ceremony, was exceptionally captivating.
The NAFES 2020 has come and gone. Tell us, how much impact is the NAFES 2020 expected to have in shaping the minds of Nigerians towards cultural reorientation?
Well, like I earlier said, the NAFES impact on the cultural thinking on Nigerians really differs from individuals to individuals and from community to community. But I believe a better understanding amongst Nigerians on the socio-economic impact of culture is on the rise at the moment. And knowing that the cultural sector will be the next, oil we have in Nigeria.
Do you think it will go ahead and, promoting peace and tolerance among the different cultures that we have in the country, looking at the fact that we have so many cultures and all blended well during the NAFES 2020. Are you with me? All right, I think we lost her. Thank you so much, Welit Hamakat, Commissioner for Tourism, Plateau State. We appreciate your time with us on the news this morning. And this is the news at 10, reaching you live from NTA News 24 Studios, Abuja. Let's take a break. We'll return in just a moment.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed grief over the killing of farmers on rice fields at Zamabari in Jere local government area of Borno State, describing the terrorist killing as insane. In a statement, the president says the entire country is hurt by these senseless killings and pray Allah to grant the souls of the departed rest in peace. He said his thoughts are with the bereaved families in this time of grief. President Buhari also said all the needed support had been given to the armed forces to take necessary steps to protect the country's population and its territory. In the same vein, more condolence messages are coming in for the bereaved families of rice farmers gruesomely killed in Zamarbari village in Jere local government area of Borno State. NTA correspondent Fatima Umar Buba has a compilation of them.
The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has condemned the killing of rice farmers by terrorists in Zabarmari, Borno State. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate, Senator Lawan described the incident as another act of barbarism against innocent Nigerians minding their own business. The President of the Senate stressed the commitment of the National Assembly to support the executive in strengthening security agencies for effective service delivery. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed sadness over the killings of the innocent rice farmers, adding that the incident has once again made the need for more military action against the terrorists imperative. In a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, the Speaker restates the determination of the House to, through the budgeting process, provide what is needed to the security to wipe out the terrorists. The Speaker commiserates with the families of the killed farmers, the people and government of Borno State over the sad incident. The Northern Governors Forum has also added its voice in condemning the killing of the innocent rice farmers, whom it says committed no crime except to go to their farms to earn their living. In a statement, Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalang, says the Forum would work with the federal government, security agencies and local support groups to ensure that farmers are protected. On its part, the People's Democratic Party condemned in the strongest terms the killing of 43 innocent farmers by insurgents in Zabarmari, Borno State. A statement from the party's National Publicity Secretary describes the act as extremely wicked, devilish, and must not be left unaddressed. The party commiserates with the government and people of Borno State and urges Nigerians to remain at alert, particularly in providing useful information for the security agencies in the fight against insurgency in the land.
And in the meantime, 34 out of the 43 people killed by the suspected Boko Haram insurgents on rice farm at Zabarmari in Jere local government area of Borno State have been laid to rest. The state governor, Babagana Umar Zulum, who attended the funeral, condemned the attack and stressed the need for enhanced collaboration with neighboring countries to end terrorism and senseless killings. Mohammed Koni has details.
Zabarmari and Koshebe villages are some of the areas known for cultivation of rice and other farm produce, with people from different parts of the country depending on the area for their livelihoods. It was these innocent Nigerians that were massacred by the suspected Boko Haram incident. A survivor of the attack on farmlands, Usman Ismail, said the victims were picked by the insurgents on different farmlands and assembled them under the pretext that they will be interrogated, after which they were slaughtered one after the other.
sun tattara mutane ne a matsayin za su je su doka musu kaya su kai ashe ba haka bane da suka gama tara mutane sai su kawo yan uwansu saura su tara mutane sai su shiga daji su sake su taro mutane su zo da su idan suka kawo suka rufe sai su sake su koma su gargado mutane ba harbi suke ba balle ka ji ka gudu.
Governor Bagana Umara, who attended the funeral prayer, also condoled the communities affected by the massacre, praying Allah to grant the deceased souls eternal rest and the families they left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. The governor also stressed commitment of government to explore all options to protect farmers on their farmlands, including digging trenches to fortify them.
Our people are in very difficult conditions. They are in two extreme conditions. On one side, if they stay at home, they may be killed by hunger and starvation. They cannot go out to their farmlands because they should be killed by the insurgents. We shall re-strategize and ensure domination, entire domination of this area, the Zabarmari Gongolong, Koshebe exists. We shall ensure recruitment of more civilians, yet more hunters.
The governor, who acknowledged efforts of the federal government in the counter-insurgency operations, also called for recruitment of more use of Borno extraction to join the security formations, including the Nigerian military. Apart from the 34 buried, more bodies are being evacuated from different farmlands, while members of the affected communities say the number could be higher than the 43 earlier announced. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
In another development, an explosion has rocked the Christian Universal Church International, founded by Rivers State Governor's father, Nlemenya Joshua Wike, in Port Harcourt. Chidebere Onya visited the scene of the incident and reports that investigation to fish out those behind the act is on.
When NTA News arrived at the scene of the incident, it was gathered that over 5 armed youths had invaded the church, identified as Christian Universal Church International, Port Harcourt, at about 11:58 p.m. and detonated the explosives suspected to be dynamite. The explosion, which damaged some parts of the church building, also created panic in the area.
All of a sudden, we have a signal that close to the UVA, there is a bomb that was thrown. So unfortunately, the people that did that run, so our vigilante now caught them.
There is no justification. We are condemning it, especially is the house of God.
Confirming the incident via a telephone conversation, Rivers State Police Public Relations Officer Nnamdi Omoni said about 3 suspects were arrested and that investigation into the incident has begun. Meanwhile, the Rivers State Police Command and other security agencies have cordoned off the area to avoid further security breach. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyea, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will on Tuesday, December 1st, roll out the much-awaited National Gas Expansion Program, NGP, in Abuja. The event heralds the formal dispensing of autogas, CNG, and LPG products at 2 NNPC retail stations. In a statement by the Special Assistant on Media to Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Garbadin Muhammad, indicates that the rollout is a culmination of the resolve of the President Buhari-led government to deepen domestic usage usage of natural gas in its various forms. It is also in line with the government's plan to make gas the first choice of source of cheaper and cleaner energy for Nigerians in their personal and industrial endeavors. Also at the event, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources will, on behalf of the federal government, hand over CNG-powered mass transport buses to the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC as part of the agreement reached with Labour during negotiations and in recognition of the role organized labour plays in the quest to bring relief to ordinary Nigerians. The federal government Autogas program will deliver at least 1 million vehicle conversions by the end of 2021 and herald the clean energy transition for Nigeria and delivery of cheap transportation fuel. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC Imo State says all is set for the smooth conduct of the Imo North Senatorial District by-election, which comes up 5th December 2020. The resident Electoral Commissioner Imo State, Professor Francis Ezonu, made this known while briefing journalists in Owerri. Faith Ogwilu has details.
The Imo State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Francis Ezonu, says the Commission has put in place necessary measures to ensure a credible and transparent by-election. He says sensitive and non-sensitive materials are already available and will be inspected by the Commission 48 hours before the election.
The central bank materials will get to the local government. And then by Friday, that's the sensitive materials, the smart card readers, all the result sheets, EC8A, EC8B, and EC8D, they will all get to, and EC8E as well, they will all get to the polling units and the constituency offices. Presently, we are as ready as we can be.
On the Himembano and Ezinihitem-Bise INEC offices, which were vandalized and set ablaze during the NSAS protest, the REC says alternative measures have been put in place to ensure a hitch-free exercise. He further says that the NCDC COVID-19 preventive measures will be strictly adhered to in view of the need to ensure the safety of voters.
The chairman of the transition committee at the Himembano has been very, very cooperative. He has given us a place to stay in the interim so that we can conduct the election. We have also received the pharmaceutical intervention materials for COVID-19. This include the hand sanitizers, face mask, face shield. We have also received methylated spirits and cotton wool to ensure that we don't encourage COVID-19 transmission.
The Imo North Senatorial District by-election, slated to hold 5th of December 2020, will be conducted to fill the vacancy created by Senator Benjamin Owajumogu, who died last year. From Owerri, Faith Ibilo, NTN News.
To effectively drive and sustain tourism, industrialization and commerce in Cross River State, the state government has started bidding for the procurement of contractors for the construction of the Obudu International Passenger and Cargo Airport. Paul Abel completes the report.
With the mandate to develop the aviation industry, boost tourism goals, float an airline known as Cali Air, and create an alternate source of revenue for the state, the Cross River State Ministry of Aviation is living up to its billing. To achieve this dream, the ministry has already embarked on land clearing of the airport site, concluded payment of compensation to landowners, as well as carrying out other site preparations. In line with international best practices of transparency, accountability, and due process, the government is adopting an open competitive bidding for the procurement of contractors for the construction of the airport.
I therefore urge all stakeholders to cooperate fully with the government to deliver this project within the specified timelines.
All the procurement processes have been done in line with the due process procedures.
This process of transparency and also ensure that the contractors who will ultimately win the bids will carry out sincere and honest work for the good of the people of Cross River State.
After the technical and financial opening of the bids, evaluators will do due diligence and communicate with successful bidders. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And occupying the highest position in civil service, the permanent secretaries are key to actualizing government's policies and aims. This is why the federal government, through the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, is organizing a capacity-building retreat to ensure a common front in government's fight against corruption. Chimobi Walter Naji now reports.
The retreat for permanent secretaries organized by the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning is a public-private engagement with Conrad Adenauer Stiftung. Its objective targets refreshing and equipping participants with effective policy formulation procedure in the process of developing the new short and long-term development plan of the federal government.
The modules will get everyone involved in an intensive immersion experience, covering cross-cutting topics and emerging issues of global importance. These issues have far-reaching impact on the efficiency of government business. In particular, the Lean Sigma training will equip you with the various skills that benefit not only your immediate governmental responsibilities, and by extension the government, but also your individual everyday interactions as well.
Good governance, when internalized and applied by government actors, translates everywhere in the world into respect for the rule of law, transparency, accountability, efficiency, and equity. Furthermore, important preconditions of good governance are also a process of strategic long-term planning.
The retreat explores various leadership principles and practices that will ensure a proper succession plan in the civil service, build emotional intelligence in problem solving and conflict resolution, as well as critical thinking for progressive governance.
Most of the time, our officers and stakeholders have access to information on resources of the ministry, perhaps even before the permanent secretaries get to know. And so communication is key. And there's certainly nothing wrong in wide consultation.
The retreat is drawing participants from all federal government ministries. In Abuja, Chimobi Walter Naji, NTA News.
In case you're just tuning in, you're watching the news at 10 on the network service of the NTA. And still to come, Nigerians lament high cost of poultry products as farmers blame scarcity of poultry feeds.
That social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
This is the network service of the NTA.